We'll start off the afternoon session with Dr. Janne, who's with Saudi Aramco. He's the University Relations Division. He works with that. So he'll have the afternoon, start off the afternoon presentation, and then we have a couple of presentations after that. Dr. Janne, please.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to be here today and to give this presentation. The title of my presentation is Knowledge Commercialization, the Finnish Way. And because the topic is maybe not so known to you, I'm aware of the program. There's a lot of cases of the US. So I want a little bit describe the Finnish way, the Finnish system in general. Okay, this is in short my career. It's got industry, it's got university, it's got government roles. I worked in Finland for 18 years at 5 universities in research, and then I moved to technology transfer area before moving to Aramco last year. I'll skip this to save time for discussion, as I'd like to have a little bit discussion in the end, and comments and feedback, or maybe disbelief on the system or whatever. So where's Finland? Finland is in Northern Europe. Our neighbors are Sweden, Norway and Russia. In this presentation I have examples of Tampere, Jyväskylä and Espoo, examples of university startup companies. Here I describe what is industry university government engagement. These balloons, of course, IUG, industry and university government, they have different kind of roles. These balloons can be overlapping, or they can be within one balloon. Maybe government has control of all of those. These are specific to each country. And by law, these entities were not allowed to collaborate. The government said that the industry and university are not able to collaborate with each other. This was the case in Finland in the 1960s, and I'm sure it was the case in the US in the earlier times. And then what is deep industry university government? It's these 3 entities working together for the same common goal, to try to achieve a win-win-win situation. These are the official mission and KPIs of companies for university engagements. The 4 first ones pretty clearly related to publishing the research results, IP creation and so on. Then the E, community building in Saudi, it also has the Saudi employment and sustaining capabilities of local universities. And the last 2 are the talent-related ones. And for companies, usually the last 2 ones are the most important ones. Having worked at universities, usually universities think that companies want to turn to universities because of the technologies. But from the company side, this is not the case. So what is the role of Finnish universities? Of course, the role is the 3, education, research, and service to society. But then it has other missions like contribution to a better world, competitiveness and welfare for Finland, regional and local economic development. And it's been, it's a fact in Finland that the universities are considered as the engines of knowledge-based economy and regional development. And in Finland we consider the greatest innovation being the education system. So what's so special in the Finnish education system? Universities are public state-owned government organizations. With 2 exceptions, 2 universities became foundations starting 2010. These are Helsinki University of Technology, which is now called Aalto University, and the other one, Tampere University of Technology. Both of these technical universities have collaborated with companies for many decades. And when they became foundations, the companies decided to invest in these foundations. In Finland, there's no tuition fees for degree students. As an example, I took my PhD, and it costed less than my child's kindergarten at Dahran Academy for 1 month. Success in Finland in economic and societal terms is traced to the regional distribution of universities. We have roughly 20 universities spread all around the country. The country has only 5 million people, but we want to make sure that everybody has the equal possibility to learn and attend the universities, and also this is starting from the kindergarten age as well. So we want to make sure that everybody has the same starting point. Then I tell about the long-term industry-university partnerships in Finland. I will describe one model. This is a model of Tampere University of Technology. This university was established 50 years ago, and it was established as University of Industry. What's special about the model then? This university has almost 400 new projects, meaning agreements per year. At any given time, roughly 1,000 projects up and running. This university don't have pure academic research. Every project has at least one industry partner. We wanted to smoothen the end of the project by negotiating the IP in advance. This don't mean that we didn't, in some cases, also sell technologies or sell patents or license to companies. But mainly, we wanted to agree in the agreement to start with on the IP. University rarely owns IP. Sometimes it's necessary, especially in the case of startup companies. We want to make sure that there's one entity owning the IP, and then it's transferred to the new business entity. Industry is directly involved in carrying out each project. Outcome is what industry needs: increased business revenue, contribution to society, benefit to local economy. Then I have some examples of Nokia, Metso, Stora Enso, Bosch, and others. These are the big companies. Then I have other examples of university startups. So how do we then measure the technology transfer results? We measure the number of innovation disclosures, patent applications. We don't measure the number of granted patents because we want to get rid of the patents before they're granted. We don't measure the number of license agreements because these are, as said, the IP is already agreed in the project agreement. So either we have few or either we have hundreds per year in this university. We sure measure the number of spin-off companies, but we don't need to measure the dollar income generated to the tech trans office or to the industry, to the university. So what we like to see is the measures on the right-hand side. And these are from 1995 to 2006. This is Nokia Research Center innovation disclosures, which became tenfold. And this was the time when Nokia made it big in the mobile phone market. So we wanted to see company growth and also GDP growth. This is the case of Finland and Nokia between 1996 and 2008, where Nokia's turnover became bigger than the GDP of the country. The GDP of the country in that time, since 1992 until 2008, almost doubled. But it wasn't only one company, it wasn't only Nokia. Nokia was heavily dealing with Tampere University of Technology and still is, and all these 15 companies are dealing heavily with this university, with this technical university. With the ones in yellow, some parts of the company or the whole companies have been sold to foreign entities. Here's one case. This is part of a study where mechanical engineering companies were studied. And to go to the point, most of the Metso Automation's employees are hired locally, and many of them from Tampere University of Technology. They talked about, the company representative talked about deep cooperation that can only place locally, and also of the company culture, the last one, having the space and time to experiment with new ideas was important. There's some similarities in these cases. I skipped to the fourth one, which I consider the most important. It says, between research and educational institutions, a two-way continuous dialectical process rather than one-time transactions has been essential for the transfer of knowledge and technologies and talent to contribute to society. So this was the key in this industry-university collaboration, and location matters. I want to skip some parts to save time, as said. Then I have one eye-opening case on the importance of long-term collaboration. This was a case where I sold two technologies to Stora Enso, which is an old school pulp and paper company. These were the first technologies the company ever bought from a Finnish university. Background to this was that Stora Enso had funded the university research for a number of years, and also the university researchers had been conducting the research on their own. So it wasn't straightforward to, as it never is, as the experts know, to determine the exact value of a given technology. But in any case, sold an invention. So this was a technology. We had no patent application filed. We agreed with the company that they will do this. And then they took a license to a patent application. Before filing this patent application, we wrote the patent application together with the company. So this tells also about the level of trust we have with these companies, with some of them at least. But then the important thing is that they agreed to fund the further research by $365,000 US per year for 3 years. So they agreed that they will fund the university by $1.1 million US. The amount of the invention and the patent application was only less than 6% of the total. So, how to measure the tech trends results? Here's the answer. With the results having real impact to the economy. These are real products coming out of the collaboration: intelligent first machinery, then container handling on the right-hand side, mining, mobile rock crushers, drilling, glass industry, and so on. Then I move to the academic entrepreneurship. These are the typical services of Research and Innovation Services Office. I'm not going to go through them. It's clear to you because you're experts in this field. Maybe the last two ones, instead of incubators, we like to call our former incubators as accelerators or innovation platforms. I have an example of an innovation platform later on in this presentation. And then I have several cases of spin-off companies coming. So these are from one university which is strong in natural science, 8 spin-off companies which were formed between 2001 and 2006. Since then, up until now, they have formed 7 more spin-off companies. This is one of the companies. It's called First Beat Technologies. Maybe some of you might be familiar with Suunto, diving computers. Some of the software is from First Beat Technologies. This was established in 2001. Then another one, MagnaSense Technologies. It's a point-of-care testing device. Not going into detail. Then Preseco, nice story as well. They got funding from US for this waste treatment technology. Then from the first ones are from University of Jyväskylä. Then these are from Tampere University of Technology. This one's called Tequila. And then Bosch, the German company, decided to collaborate with this university and with this gentleman you see here. On the right-hand side, it's one person who actually started the collaboration with the local companies, Professor Matti Vilenius, in the 1970s. Really important guy for the university. Then one more, it's Institute of Digital and Computer Systems. They have produced 2 spin-off companies. This is in the area of wireless sensor networks. And then the best case in the optoelectronics case where now Emeritus Professor Markus Pessa, his group has created 9 spin-off companies. So this gentleman, he likes to invest his time in starting up the company, and when it's mature enough, he gets his own people to run it. And it's a brilliant model. Over and over again, he's come back to the university. Innovation support organizations in a country of 5 million people. That's, I think that's quite a lot. Okay, the last is the game companies. Why I have this? Because it's considered as our success story in Finland now. You may recognize Angry Birds, and then the roots of the Angry Birds is one of the technical universities, Helsinki University of Technology, once again, established 10 years ago. It picked up slowly, but then in 2011, big things started happening, and then 2012 also they did really great, and they're a big success nowadays. Then other one is Supercell, and this company was valued at 770 million this spring, and then just 2 weeks ago, 2 companies decided to buy 51% of the company for 1.5 billion, giving the value of the company of 3 billion. And this company has only 100 employees. And this leads back to the start, the Industryuniversity government engagement. So the CEO of the Supercell said, because they paid taxes 350 million to Finnish government, he says, "We grew up in Finland and have received so much from the Finnish society. When we succeed, it is perfectly correct that we share the success with this society." So a few take-home messages, maybe some of them we haven't touched so deeply, but I would say the spirit of the partnership is the key, not the laws, policies and regulations, because we have seen that sometimes the collaboration is so advanced that the laws and policies are behind, so later on they can be changed, and we've seen this happening. I'm not encouraging to deliberately to break law, but this has happened. And then long-term industry-university partnership, initial contacts at the researcher level. This is something we didn't really touch, but I feel it is really important, and usually the case is. Sometimes, of course, from top down. Entrepreneurial government builds an innovative economy, so the government support in funding is crucial. And very important, what works out in Finland may not work out elsewhere, so I recommend to assess the models and adapt the best parts and adapt to the local environment. And my last one is move from transaction to engagement. But still I stress out the second last to really pick up the best parts, and if this 25 minutes has given you new ideas, I'm happy, and if you want to learn more, just contact me, or even better, go to Finland and see how it is. But go in the summertime because it's nice and warm then. Shukran.
Thank you, Dr. Janne. Any questions in the room? Please.
So, Janne, you talked about this model of, having the industry, giving some of their IP leftovers, to universities, and then, engaged also in the process of generating startups through mentorship. And so how difficult was, the process of convincing, for example, both parties to work together to do that? I know, maybe it's not, you may need more time to explain this, but in short, can you tell us the keywords or the...
Okay.
What was your magic wand to do that? So
I think the magic can be seen in this picture, the fat guy. He's one of the Nokia directors. We had a really good team of passionate guys who really wanted to make this happen. Not because they wanted to build a business for themselves, but they were passionate about this collaboration. And he's one of the few key individuals who did it. And of course, when you open the door of Nokia, it's like opening the door of a big national oil company in this country.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for coming from Finland to Saudi Arabia. I just have a question, is why now Nokia is going down while Samsung is going up. Well, you have these ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, well, the competition just is tough, and if you once become number one, it's really, really tough to maintain the position in an area like that. And Nokia has had many businesses. It started with pulp and paper, then automation, cables, rubber boots. 20 years ago, they had televisions and PCs. They had the mobile phones. Now it was sold. I'm happy as a shareholder that the value of Nokia company now is going up because we got rid of the phones. So it's tough time for them for sure. But then again, the company was established in 1865. So they'll survive and they'll do something important. They still have the NSN, the networks and the location activities as well. So I'm sure they'll be fine. Competition is tough, that's for sure. Thank you.
Any other questions in the room?
Janne, thank you for the presentation.
I sense it's a tough one coming.
Your presentation was good as usual. Let me ask you, how institutional is the relationship between the universities and industry in Finland? You know, these activities do not come from vacuum.
Mm-hmm. You're asking how many?
How institutional is the university relationship with industry, and you know, what are the mechanisms within the university that enable them to keep continuous entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology transfer links with the industry in Finland?
Yeah. Okay.
You know the MIT
Yes.
model, the Stanford model. You know, there is an independent liaison office. It's not exactly the same like the technology transfer office, and it is fully staffed with professionals and people who have industrial background. Is it the same case in Finland?
No. I think the background for this is that in the 1950s, the government of Finland and several cities decided that we need universities in somewhere else apart from the capital region. So these universities, several of them were established in the 1960s, many of them technical in nature. They were established in places where there was already long-term existing industries. And from early on, these universities were in a way or another influenced by the local industry. And as in the case of Tampere University of Technology, they've been in the role of serving the industry. And this is a deliberate choice, probably leading to the fact that Finland will not produce any Nobel Prize winners. But then again, the importance and the fruits of the collaboration, deep collaboration with the industry and university, I think are much more important than maybe €1 million prize for an individual or for a group. But the people who work at the tech trends offices in Finland, they hardly ever are industry background. We have few of them. They're more like university research background people who have, like myself, have collaborated heavily with companies. In a way, probably would be beneficial to have more industry guys within those offices to have that view stronger. Did I answer your question, or you want to rephrase?
It's okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ayat.
Thank you, Dr. Janne. Thank you very much.
Shukran.